Hello everyone and welcome to my new channel, One Nerd to Rule Them All. If you've come over from my Law and Court Cases channel, thank you. Thank you for following me on my travels. And if you are new, welcome. I look forward to exploring all things fantasy and law with you guys. Like on my first channel, this is just going to be a little intro video on what you guys can expect from the channel and expect from me. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So in addition to being a big fan of true crime, history and folklore, I'm also a big fan of fantasy and fantasy lore. I grew up reading religiously Tolkien. It was my favourite thing to read, my favourite thing to explore, and I loved the imagery that it created in my head. So it's no surprise that as an adult, I'm still obsessed and in love with Tolkien to this day. In addition to Tolkien, I also love things like Star Wars, but I love a lot of nerdy things in general, and all these things I will be covering on this channel. With Tolkien, there is so many stories to cover. Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, there is so much lore behind those stories, and I know there is an audience out there that have that interest in that lore. So I decided, why not create a second channel and cover those stories as well. If, like me, when you're reading a book, you kind of always want to dive deeper into the stories and dive deeper into the character, then this is definitely going to be the channel for you. But now moving on to what I will be covering. I'll be covering the characters and their backgrounds and how they intertwine with others, how they became the most beloved characters that we know and love today, the different kingdoms and who occupies them. Then I'll be covering the different races of Middle-earth, the dwarves, the elves, the realm of man. I'll also be covering the battles and how they came to pass. With Star Wars, it'll be the same thing. I'll be covering the characters, I'll be covering the lore, I'll be covering the planets, I'll be covering the battles, I'll be covering the Jedi and the Sith, I'll be covering the different lightsabers. I'll be doing little videos on all things that those fandoms contain. So what will I be covering first? I'll be starting with my Lord of the Rings series. So the first video is going to be about Aragorn himself. Aragorn II specifically. Member of the Fellowship of the Ring, King of the Reunited Kingdoms. I'll be covering his background and how he became to be the character that most know and love today. I'll then be covering Elrond, the half-elf Lord of Rivendell, father to Arwen, Aragorn's wife, and how their stories interlock, because you'll be hearing Elrond's name quite a lot during the first episode. Then I'll go on to cover the Rings of Power, how they were forged, who they were intended for, and of course the one ring to rule them all. This is the ring that led the Fellowship on their quest. Of course it was a quest to destroy it, but it was the one ring that started it all. Then I'll be moving on to Gandalf, formerly known as the Grey, later known as the White. The wizard sent in the Third Age to combat the threat of Sauron. We will cover his journey with Thorin's company and his eventual journey alongside Frodo Baggins. So if this is the type of thing you're into, then please stick around. I would love for you guys to be part of this. If there are any fandoms in specifically that you want me to cover, then please mention them below, that would be great. If there are any characters or videos or episodes that you specifically want to see, also give me that information too, I will happily do so. This is a very short and cut to the point sweet video, as of course it's just a little intro, so if you want to see longer content, obviously stick around for my future episodes because they will be long videos. So I just want to say thank you for watching, and if you stayed to the end, thank you so much. And I look forward to having you guys part of this little fellowship. So I'll see you soon, and bye for now.